The 2024 White Sox ignited new debate over which club is the worst in Major League Baseball history. Enough with the debates. Out of the Park Baseball 26 has the answers. Welcome back to the Baseball Dreamland channel, where bad baseball gets the spotlight it deserves. In this video, I'm giving 64 historically awful teams the chance to prove once and for all they're not the worst in Major League Baseball history. I'll break down the setup, walk you through the rounds, and by the end, we'll have crowned the ultimate champion of catastrophe. Let's get to it. To set this 64-team field, I ranked every club in MLB history based on a composite rating with equal weight on losses and run differential. To ensure a diverse field, each franchise only has one representative per era or decade. All qualifying teams are seeded and placed into a single elimination bracket, with the losers advancing. We'll be playing with 1962 settings in honor of the tournament's top seed, the New York Mets. Someone is going to lose 6 straight games and claim the most awful title imaginable in baseball. Here are all the participants. Because of the eligibility rules, there's an even distribution of entries across the MLB franchises. The Detroit Tigers lead the way with 5 entries in this tournament, but if accounting for relocation, the Athletics have 5 representatives, as do the Browns-Orioles combo. Just how bad is this field? These clubs lost an average of 107 games with an average run differential of negative 247. Do you see any clubs that are undeserving of being here, or think another club should be in the field instead? Let me know in the comments below. Ready for 63 of these teams to escape the most horrific title in baseball? Al Jackson gets 1951 Browns third baseman Fred Marsh to fly out to center to earn himself a shutout, and the infamous 1962 Mets a ticket out of this tournament. Shoeless Joe Jackson's RBI single in the 5th inning put the 1914 Naps ahead 2-0 over the 1969 Expos, and they'd escaped the tournament with a 2-1 victory. Bobby Witt Jr. steps up to the plate in extras against the 1969 Padres, and he sends a deep fly ball into the fountains, and the 2023 Royals exit the tournament with a walk-off homer. The 2021 Pittsburgh Pirates scored a comeback victory against the 1954 Philly A's. Jacob Stallings is credited with the go-ahead single in the 7th inning. Brenton Doyle steps up for the 2023 Rockies with the game on the line and grounds out to shortstop. The 1904 Washington Senators barely escape. Larry Milburn doubles into the left field gap, giving the 1980 Seattle Mariners a 3-2 lead over the 2010 Pirates and a ticket home. Bill Stein steps up with a man on for the 1978 Mariners, and he smashes a home run off Fred Frankhouse of the Boston Braves. The Mariners make it 2-2. Derek Lee sends a deep fly ball to right center field, and it's gone. The 1998 Florida Marlins cruised to victory over the 1904 Philadelphia Phillies. Al Jackson and Bobby Witt Jr. are the heroes of this sectional. Satchel Paige's 1951 Browns, Rusty Staub's 1969 Montreal Expos, Andrew McCutchen's 2010 Pittsburgh Pirates, and Babe Ruth's 1935 Braves will be back for the second round. The 1916 Philly A's took a 5-run lead, but Terrence Long and the 1995 Kansas City Royals stormed back for a 10-5 victory. Willie Harris drilled a 2-run triple in the 4th inning for the 2008 Washington Nationals against the 2021 Arizona Diamondbacks. They'll cruise to victory and head home. Deion James sends one all the way to the wall. He's got himself an inside-the-park home run, and the 1988 Atlanta Braves cruise to a 7-1 victory over the 1911 Boston Rustlers. The 1905 Brooklyn Superbas are rallying, but Emil Batch's flyout stops their momentum, and the 1989 Detroit Tigers hold on for victory. The 2019 Detroit Tigers mounted a comeback in the 9th, but Gordon Beckham lined into a game-ending double play, and the 1908 New York Highlanders escape. Rob Makoviak sends his second homer of the game over the left field fence. The 2001 Pittsburgh Pirates use 5 errors by the 1988 Baltimore Orioles to punch their ticket home. Bob Spence delivers a seeing eye single into left field. It's a walk-off single for the 1970 Chicago White Sox against the 1942 Philadelphia Phillies. The 1971 Cleveland Indians have the lead in the 7th, but it's erased by Wally Moses' 3-run homer. The 1936 Philadelphia Athletics earn a come-from-behind 7-5 victory. Rob Makoviak and Bob Spence are the heroes of this sectional. Miguel Cabrera's 2019 Detroit Tigers, Cal Ripken Jr.'s 1988 Baltimore Orioles, and Greg Nettles' 1971 Cleveland Indians will try again in the next round. Buck Freeman sends the 1906 Boston Americans home with an 11th inning inside the park home run to walk off the 2023 Detroit Tigers. Aubrey Huff smashes his first of 5 hits against the 2016 Minnesota Twins. His 2002 Tampa Bay Devil Rays cruise to an easy 11-2 victory. Luis Torrero of the 2004 Diamondbacks delivers a 2-run double in the 8th against the 1975 Detroit Tigers, and that secures an exit for the Diamondbacks. Rickey Henderson delivers a 2-run single for the 1979 Oakland A's, which would turn out to be the deciding run in their win over the 1977 Atlanta Braves. But the 2023 Oakland Athletics were not so lucky. They suffered defeat at the hands of the 1948 Chicago White Sox on Tony Lupian's RBI single in the 8th inning. Yoel Pozo was the walk-off hero for the 2021 Texas Rangers, who crafted a stunning comeback against the 1949 Washington Senators. Mark Trumbo steps up to the plate in the top of the 9th and grounds out to short. His 2018 Baltimore Orioles fall to the 1932 Chicago White Sox. Virgil Trucks pitched the 1952 Detroit Tigers home with a shutout of the 1979 Toronto Blue Jays, retiring John Mayberry to end the game. Bill Freeman, Audrey Huff, Tony Armas, and Virgil Trucks are the heroes of the 3rd sectional. Meanwhile, Mickey Lolich's 1975 Detroit Tigers and Phil Negro's 1977 Atlanta Braves must stay for another round. Don Locke steps up in the 4th and drills an opposite field home run. His 1963 Washington Senators easily dispatch the 2024 Chicago White Sox. All hail King Felix. He dominated the 1908 St. Louis Cardinals with a 2-hit shutout and 8 strikeouts. The 2010 Seattle Mariners are going home. Curtis Granderson's 7th inning RBI single turned into the winning run for the 2019 Miami Marlins against the 1952 Pittsburgh Pirates. Jim Thome's RBI single gave the 1991 Cleveland Indians a 3-0 lead in the 1st, which was enough to hold off the 1910 St. Louis Browns. Lee Walls sent the 1961 Philadelphia Phillies home with this go-ahead 2-run double in the 8th inning against the 1932 Boston Red Sox. Lane Thomas gave the 2022 Washington Nationals an 8-3 lead with this 8th inning double, and they'd cruise to victory against the 1934 Cincinnati Reds. Keith Ginter doubled the 2002 Milwaukee Brewers lead with this solo home run against the 1939 St. Louis Browns. And finally, Ernie Banks capped a 15-2 demolition of the 2013 Houston Astros with his 2nd home run, sending the 1962 Chicago Cubs home easily. Felix Hernandez and Ernie Banks are the heroes of the 4th sectional. Meanwhile, Ralph Kiner's 1952 Pittsburgh Pirates and Jose Altuve's 2013 Houston Astros will try again tomorrow. And that concludes the first round, which favored teams from the 1960s through the 2010s. The Seattle Mariners can declare themselves the champions, sweeping their 3 games and bidding us farewell as a franchise. Meanwhile, it was an awful experience for the Browns-Orioles franchise. They went a combined 0-5. Shout out to Aubrey Huff, Ernie Banks, and Tony Armas for the best first-round performances of the tournament. All 32 losers are set to play the following day in the 2nd round. Let's send them an inspirational message from the great Herb Brooks.
Think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Again.
Harry Arft put the 1951 St. Louis Browns ahead of the 1969 Montreal Expos 3-1 with this home run in the 5th, and they'd go on to win 6-2. Al Ferreira's 3rd inning home run put the 1969 San Diego Padres in front of the 1954 Philadelphia Athletics, and that's all the scoring they would need for the win. Elias Diaz of the 2023 Colorado Rockies pounded a double into the right field gap, which scored 3 and created distance from the 2010 Pittsburgh Pirates. Starting pitcher Chick Frazier doubles in 2 runs, putting the 1904 Philadelphia Phillies in front of the 1935 Boston Braves for good. Billy Meyer steps up for the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics with the tying and winning runs on base. Joe Mantiply retires him to send the 2021 Diamondbacks home. Doc Gessler's RBI double put the 1905 Brooklyn Superbas in front of the 1911 Boston Rustlers, and the 6-4 win is their ticket home. Miguel Cabrera's 2-run single in the 3rd inning put the 2019 Detroit Tigers ahead of the 1988 Baltimore Orioles. They'd hold on for the win. It was a slugfest in Cleveland, where Benny Warren delivered the knockout blow for the 1942 Philadelphia Phillies over the 1971 Cleveland Indians. Shout out to Dick Kelly of the Padres for his near shutout. Veda Pinzon has homered twice for the 1971 Indians, but neither of them were enough for a win. The 2023 Detroit Tigers are losing their grip on this upset. Fernando Rodney pitches to Max Kepler and induces a 4-6-3 double play to defeat the 2016 Minnesota Twins. The 1975 Detroit Tigers would not be so fortunate, surrendering a walk-off single to Bill Pocoroba of the 1977 Atlanta Braves. Brent Rooker was the hero for the 2023 Oakland Athletics against the 1949 Washington Senators. His 8th-inning 2-run homer turned the game around. Mark Trumbo hit his 2nd homer of the game for the 2018 Baltimore Orioles in the 7th, which is enough to hold off the 1979 Toronto Blue Jays. The 1908 St. Louis Cardinals squeezed past the 2024 Chicago White Sox in extra innings with this 11th inning Champ Austin sacrifice fly. Gus Bell's 6th-inning home run was the winning tally for his 1952 Pittsburgh Pirates, who defeated the 1910 St. Louis Browns 4-2. The 1934 Cincinnati Reds clung to a 1-0 lead but blew it in the 9th. Anthony Spugnardi's game-winning single sends the 1932 Boston Red Sox home. The 2013 Houston Astros win a laugher against the 1939 St. Louis Browns. This 7th-inning home run from Brett Wallace contributed to their 13-1 ticket home. Shout out again to Bill Pocoroba, Brett Rooker, and Anthony Spugnardi for their game-winning hits in the 2nd sectional. And the round of 16 is set. The Philadelphia Athletics and St. Louis Browns have 2 entries each. The 2024 Chicago White Sox are the highest team remaining. Shout out to Dick Kelly, Murray Jackson, and Ivy Andrews for leading their teams to 2nd-round exits. All 16 losers are set to play the following day in the 3rd round. We need some more motivation from Herb.
You represent yourself and your teammates. And a name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head! Again!
Lou Limmer's 3rd home run of the tournament ties the game at 2 apiece in the 8th, but Kevin Collins singles to right, which scores Ron Brand and the 1969 Montreal Expos walk off the 1954 Philadelphia Athletics. Tommy Thompson smashes an 8th-inning homer to put the 1935 Boston Braves up 2-1. Huck Betts enters the game and retires Joe Tabata of the 2010 Pittsburgh Pirates on a pop-up to win the game. Doc Miller steps up in a tie game and unties it with an RBI single. The 1916 Philadelphia Athletics put runners in scoring position, but Buster Brown retires Amos Strunk to send the 1911 Boston Rustlers home happy. Mickey Tettleton hit a 2-run single to put the 1988 Baltimore Orioles in front in the 4th. And then Larry Sheets hit a 2-run homer to doom the 1971 Cleveland Indians to a quarterfinal berth. Robbie Grossman's 6th-inning double gives the 2016 Minnesota Twins the lead over the 1975 Detroit Tigers. Buddy Boshers gets Aurelio Rodriguez to ground out and send the Twins home. Jake Early's 9th-inning single draws his 1949 Washington Senators even, and then Buddy Lewis' single gives them a 2-run lead. Tony Soleta is the last hope for the 1979 Toronto Blue Jays, and he flies out to left field. Luis Robert put the 2024 Chicago White Sox ahead 4-1 with a 2 RBI single in the 2nd, and they retired Al Schweitzer to finish off their 5-1 victory over the 1910 St. Louis Browns. Chet Labs hit a 2-run home run in the 6th inning to put the 1939 St. Louis Browns up front 3-1. The 1934 Cincinnati Reds rallied in the 9th, but Wes Schulmerich struck out to end the game. Here are your line scores for all 8 games. Congratulations to Russ Ohlendorf, Chris Flexen, and Kyle Gibson on excellent pitching performances to help their clubs exit this tournament. The Philadelphia Athletics are now the only franchise with 2 remaining representatives, and they could potentially face each other in the semifinals. The 1954 A's will face the last remaining club from the 21st century, the 2010 Pittsburgh Pirates, while the 1916 A's take on the 1971 Cleveland Indians, who are a Cinderella story of sorts, losing as the favorites throughout. Our third matchup is a battle of the 70s between the 79 Blue Jays and the 75 Tigers. Finally, the 1910 St. Louis Browns face the other Cinderella, the 1934 Cincinnati Reds. It's clear Herb Brooks hasn't been able to motivate these clubs. Let's try a lighter touch.
Losing is a disease as contagious as bubonic plague. But curable.
Andrew McCutchen's third inning home run put the 2010 Pittsburgh Pirates in front 5-0. Later that inning, Chris Snyder hit a 2-run homer of his own, sending the 1954 Philadelphia Athletics to the semifinals. Stuffy McGinnis cleared the bases for the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics in the third. Roy Foster started the 1971 Cleveland Indians comeback with his own bases clearing double, which set up Chris Chambliss to play the hero in the bottom of the ninth. But he didn't. Jeff Karstens and Bullet Joe Bush both put in excellent pitching outings to position their clubs for wins. Otto Velez gave the 1979 Toronto Blue Jays an insurance run with this homer in the 9th inning. They wouldn't need it. The 1975 Detroit Tigers offense only mustered 2 hits, and they've advanced to the semifinals. Jim Bottomley of the 1934 Cincinnati Reds drove a single to left, tying the game at 1 in the 6th inning. That was the start of a vicious rally that saw the 1910 St. Louis Browns surrender 7 runs, and they're in the semis. Baylor Moore and Alan Stott were both dominant, pitching into the 9th to help their team secure tournament exits. Our first semifinal will feature the 1954 Philadelphia Athletics, who will send ace Ernie Parta Carrero to the mound against Greg Nettles and the 1971 Cleveland Indians. The second semifinal will feature the 1910 St. Louis Browns against John Hiller and the 1975 Detroit Tigers. These teams are dangerously close to becoming the worst clubs in Major League Baseball history. How much more of this can they take?
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Bill Wilson got the 1954 Philadelphia Athletics on the board with a leadoff home run. Gus Erniel made that lead 5-0 with a 3-run home run in the 8th, and he followed it up with a 9th inning single that scored 2 more runs. Bill Oster got Veda Pinzon to pop up to first base, sending the 1971 Cleveland Indians to the final. Red Corridon pinch hit in the 2nd inning and put his 1910 St. Louis Browns ahead 2-0, but the 1975 Detroit Tigers struck back with a Jack Pierce RBI single. Patrick Newman put the Browns up 4-1 with this single in the 5th inning. The Tigers kept their hopes alive in the 9th, but Gary Sutherland lined out to end the game. Lou Limmer collected 3 hits and Gus Erniel drove in 5 for the 1954 Philadelphia Athletics, while Arnie Portocarrero surrendered just 1 run in 8 innings. Alex Malloy was the hero of the 1910 St. Louis Browns, pitching 6 innings of 1-run ball. Patrick Noonan collected 3 hits in their win. We've narrowed the starting field of 64 teams down to 2 finalists. The 1975 Detroit Tigers will travel to Cleveland and face the 1971 Indians. It'll be Dave Lemanchuk against Mike Paul. Let's take a closer look at these clubs. The 1975 Detroit Tigers finished 57-102, and the relative strength of their team is pitching. Ace Mickey Lolich already lost twice in this tournament, and bullpen arms Gene Pence and John Hiller haven't been given the opportunity to close out games. Meanwhile, Cleveland posted a record of 60-102 during the 1971 season, one of the best records in this tournament. Their lineup is relatively decent with Ray Fosse, Chris Chambliss, Greg Nettles, and Roy Foster, but their pitching has really let them down. Both teams' weaknesses have shown throughout this tournament. The Tigers have only scored 9 runs in their 5 losses, with the closest call coming against the 1977 Atlanta Braves in the second round. Cleveland can't stop doing two things. First, surrendering runs. They've given up 42 of them in their 5 losses. Second, losing to teams from Philadelphia. All 3 entries from the Philadelphia Athletics got their exit ticket courtesy of these 1971 Indians. Let's head to Cleveland's clubhouse as Lou Brown gives his pregame speech.
It's not your job to make excuses. That's all you guys do good. It's either a leg thing, or a spiritual thing, or a psychological thing, or a heart attack.
Jack Pierce gets the slumping Tigers offense on the scoreboard with this first inning single. Bottom of the first now, and Roy Foster gets that run right back with an RBI double. Mickey Stanley singles scores Leon Roberts to make it 2-1 Tigers now. Top of the third, Bill Freehan up to bat, and he sends a fly ball to left, and it's gone. 4-1 Tigers. Up steps Jack Pierce in the 5th.
No way, too high.
And he's got a home run too. Bottom 5, and the Indians have 2 runners on for pinch hitter Eddie Leone, and that's a 6-4-3 double play. Mickey Stanley's turn, and it's another Tigers home run. Gene Michael up with the bases loaded, and that one's gonna clear him. There's a no mercy rule in this tournament, so Ray Fosse steps up with Cleveland down 11, and that'll do it. Condolences to the now official worst club in Major League Baseball history, the 1971 Cleveland Indians. They got obliterated in the final by the 1975 Detroit Tigers. Mike Paul surrendered 5 runs, and Sam McDowell fared even worse. Cleveland collected 3 hits and 3 errors. Meanwhile, Bill Freehan, Jack Pierce, Gene Michael, and Mickey Stanley had a field day at the plate. Dave Lenchik allowed just 1 run in 8 innings and is the player of the game. So how many of you put your money on this club winning it all? You surprised at the outcome? Simply relieved that your club didn't claim this title instead? Or is your bitterness associated with this ball club reaching new heights? Leave your reactions and thoughts on the outcome in the comments. Congratulations to Wes Schulmerich of the 1934 Cincinnati Reds on winning the Least Valuable Player award for the tournament. He collected 0 hits and 2 walks in 17 plate appearances, and he made an error in right field for good measure. Congratulations to Sam McDowell of the 1971 Cleveland Indians on winning the Least Valuable Pitcher award for the tournament. He allowed 9 walks, 9 earned runs, and 2 home runs in just 7+ innings. At least he struck out 8 batters in the process. Other than Sam McDowell, who's to blame for Cleveland's failures? John Lowenstein gets an honorable mention for Least Valuable Player with just 2 hits during the tournament. Ray Fosse wasn't much better with 3, but scoring runs wasn't really the problem. In addition to Sam McDowell, Mike Paul surrendered 9 runs in 7 innings, Vince Colbert gave up 7 in just 5 innings, and 2 more pitchers ended the tournament with double-digit ERAs. Thanks for making it this far in the video. I'll leave you with a small gift before closing, and that is the link to the Quick Start download, which is in the video description. Unzip that folder into the Quick Start Games folder, and hit the new Quick Start game on the OOTP 26 main menu to play out your own edition of this tournament. And if you do play your own, please leave a comment in this video on who is the tournament loser. That's a wrap for today. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified of more videos as they're released. And if you want to watch any more of my videos right now, try this one.